Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha and these are the headlines of the hour. Nepal advanced into the SAF Under-20 Championship Finals, defeating Bhutan 4-1 in a penalty shootout to clash against India or Bangladesh in Wednesday's title decider. Heated disputes during the meeting of the Public Accounts Committee regarding dedicated and trunk line bills. CPN-UML lawmakers demand to take action against NEA Managing Director Kulman Ghising. 8 people killed in 31 disaster incidents within 24 hours. 6 people killed in a landslide in West Durumba Soilun of Ramechhap. 4 others still missing after 5 houses were buried. And Hezbollah launches hundreds of rockets and drones against Israel in retaliation for the assassination of a senior commander in Beirut last month. The meeting of the Public Accounts Committee of the House of Representatives has been indecisive regarding the dedicated and trunk line bills to industries due to heated disputes between lawmakers. They exchanged blame games and CPN Maoist Center demanded the leadership be given to the opposition, while ruling CPN-UML demanded a change of National Assembly chairperson and deputy speaker. At today's session, after members put forth their opinions, Committee Chair Rishikesh Pokhrel presented 6 points. However, a consensus could not be reached. Parliamentarians from CPN Maoist Center, ruling Nepali Congress and Rashtriya Swatantra Party expressed disagreement with the points. Earlier, the previous government, led by Pushpa Kamal Dahal, had formed a commission which had suggested the Nepal Electricity Authority to raise the due amounts from industries. The authority then disconnected power supply to 5 industries. The government changed the new one shared its grievances with the authority. The dispute escalated after CPN-UML proposed to take action against authority officials. Parliamentarians other than those of CPN-UML had opined it would be unnatural to delay taking a decision on the due payments of dedicated and trunk lines. Most have urged to direct the authority to collect the payments without any condition. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance Vishnu Paudel has said an amendment bill to the Banking Offence and Punishment Act 2064 had been registered at the Parliament. Speaking at today's meeting of the Finance Committee of the House of Representatives, Minister Paudel said banking frauds and incidents of check bounces had been on the rise in recent time, and an amendment to current laws was needed to support in investigations and management. The bill has put in priority banking crime like dishonored checks and potential fines in such cases.
विशेष गरी यो चेक अनादरका घटनाहरूले चाहिँ समाजलाई गम्भीर रूपमा आक्रान्त गरेको अवस्था थियो। यो समेत अवस्थालाई दृष्टिगत गरेर हामीले बैंकिङ कसुरको सजाय आउनमा चाहिँ सामूहिक संशोधन गर्नुपर्ने आवश्यकता महसुस गरिकन सरकारले यो चाहिँ संशोधन विधेयक चाहिँ समक्ष प्रस्तुत गर्नु हो।
During the meeting, lawmaker Swarnim Wagle suggested to prioritize monetary fines on the guilty instead of jail sentence in case of banking fraud. Former Finance Minister Prakash Charan Mahat had registered the bill last year, which prohibits issuing checks of their bank accounts do not have sufficient balance. In such cases, if the drawee wishes, the bank can provide the account holder 30 days notice to deposit the required amount. Should the account holder fail to do so, the process to prove that the check had been dishonored would begin. Through the current bill, the provision of fines would be amendment for dishonored checks. A provision for 3 months jail term has also been included in the bill. 8 people were killed and 5 others seriously injured in the country in 31 disaster-related incidents within 24 hours. As the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority released the statistics of the disasters from 10 a.m. yesterday till today, 5 people are still missing. Most of the deaths have been caused by landslides. Meanwhile, 1 person in Sangpa Sabha was killed by lightning. A man was also attacked by a tiger in Parsa. Likewise, search operation is underway for a man who went missing while crossing the Kagwa River in Sangpa Sabha. 203 people have died and 251 have been injured due to disaster that occurred since 10th of May due to incessant rain, while 54 people are still missing. At least 6 people have died in a landslide in Ramechhap's West Doramba Soilung rural municipality. 4 others are reported missing. One of the 6 deceased was a minor. According to the police, the deceased have been identified as 30-year-old Chandika Thapa Magar and her 18-month-old son, 40-year-old Urmila Pahari, 17-year-old Sandeep Pahari, 18-year-old Bigyan Pahari, and 14-year-old Santosh Pahari. 10-year-old Anjana Pahari was injured in the incident and rescued. Search is on for the missing 75-year-old Fadke Pahari, 55-year-old Kale Pahari, 54-year-old Chaukiri Pahari, and 23-year-old Binda Pahari. The landslide swept away 5 houses. 30 houses in Ramechhap's West Doramba Soilung rural municipality are at risk of landslide. The region has been out of access after flood and landslides triggered by heavy rainfall on Saturday night. 2 concrete bridges were damaged due to flood in local rivers. It has been 10 months since the earthquake struck Jajarkot with its epicenter at Barekot. However, reconstruction works have not progressed in the earthquake-affected districts including Bajang, Bajura, Jajarkot, Rukum West and Salyan. Due to government's failure to prepare work procedure for reconstruction, the victims have suffered during the rainy season. 3 earthquake victims died last night in Majgaon of Jajarkot's Nalgar Municipality, Ward Number 2, when a temporary shelter was destroyed by a landslide. According to the police, the deceased have been identified as 42-year-old Lalbahadur Pariyar, 34-year-old Manisha Pariyar, and 2-year-old son Shivam Pariyar. Prior to this, 1 earthquake victim had also died in a landslide. Monsoon is still ongoing. None of the shelters of the victims are safe during the downpour. 4 earthquake victims have already died in Jajarkot after their shelters were destroyed by a landslide. However, the 3 tiers of government do not seem to be sensitive towards the sufferings of the earthquake victims. The house of Sita Sunar of Jajarkot's Bheri Municipality 3 was destroyed by the November 3rd earthquake last year. After the house was destroyed, she spent some time in a tarpaulin with her family, but now she is spending her days in a temporary shelter. The 2-room temporary shelter is narrow and unsafe. The daily life of Nan Kalabura's family is also living in a temporary shelter after the earthquake. These shelters are not safe from floods and landslides. Many settlements affected by the earthquake are at high risk of floods and landslides. However, the earthquake victims are compelled to live in dangerous conditions as they have not found a safe place. The local levels that are most active in the relief and rescue of the earthquake victims say that they are not able to proceed with the construction works due to lack of financial resources. Although the budget for the construction of housing for the earthquake victims was mentioned during the budget announcement, budget was not sent to the local levels for the 2nd installment, and the work procedure regarding reconstruction has not been prepared either. The local level, due to this, is blaming the federal government for the delay in reconstruction works. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority has claimed that the reconstruction works will begin as soon as the rainy season ends. According to the authority, technicians will be hired for reconstruction, and after setting up an office in the affected areas, reconstruction works will begin within a month. More than 48,000 households were affected in Jajarkot alone by last year's November 3rd earthquake with its epicenter in Jajarkot. Out of the total victims, the government has provided 25,000 rupees each to 40,717 victims as the first installment to build temporary shelters, spending more than 1.17 billion rupees. Out of those victims who took funds from the government to build temporary shelters, only 32,746 have constructed the shelters. However, only 26,581 victims have been selected to receive the 2nd installment. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what is the reason behind load shedding in industrial area? 48% voted for A, NEA's negligence, 37% for B, weak infrastructure, and 15% for C, lack of electricity. And here's today's question. What's your take on Jajalkot earthquake victims not receiving amounts for rehabilitation even after a lapse of 10 months? Your options are A, insensitivity, B, lack of coordination among government entities, and C, procedure as an excuse. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The Supreme Court has issued an interim order staying the government decision to make it mandatory to have a national ID card to avail Social Security allowance and other public services. The order was issued by a joint bench of Justice Duo Manoj Kumar Sharma and Til Prasad Shrestha. The writ application was filed by two advocates, including Ram Bahadur Raut against the Office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, Ministry of Home Affairs, and the Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs on 12th of July last month. The applicants had claimed many provisions of the national ID card was against the sentiments of the Constitution. The government had made it mandatory for one to have a national ID to apply for Social Security allowance, mobile SIM cards, and all other public services. The writ application had mentioned that making the card mandatory had deprived many senior citizens of their allowances as the distribution of national ID was taking time. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked people in several provinces, why has the government failed to form crucial laws despite the lapse of almost 1 decade since federalism was implemented? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
बहुमत आएको भएदेखि स्थायी सरकार बन्थ्यो स्थायी सरकार बनेको भएदेखि संविधानमा नयाँ कानुनहरु निर्माण हुन्थ्यो र संहिता अरु दरो हुन्थ्यो कुनै पनि दलले पूर्ण बहुमत नल्याएको अवस्थाको कारणले गर्दा राजनीतिक दलमा चाहिँ इच्छा शक्तिको कमी भएको जनताको स्वार्थपट्टि चाहिँ उनीहरुको चाहिँ ध्यानै जान नसक्नु त्यो कारणले चाहिँ यो कान बन्न नसकेको
कसरी आफू सत्तामा पुग्ने कसरी आफ्नो कुर्सीमा बस्ने कसरी त्यो ठाउँबाट आफू नहट्ने
राजनीतिक अस्थिरताको कारणले तपाईको चाहिँ मेन यो हुन नसकेको
एउटा विधेयक ल्याएको छ त्यो विधेयक ठीक बनाउन चाहिँ अर्को दिन हिँडेको छ हैन यस्तै चीजहरु यहाँ बढी छ त्यसले गर्दा चाहिँ यो गाह्रो कुरो छ
सरकारमा बारम्बार परिवर्तन भइरहने यी विविध कारणले गर्दाखेरि
सत्ताको चाहिने जुन लुछाचुणी अथवा त्यसको निमित्त कम्पिटिसन चाहिने पर्यो दलहरुको यसले गर्दा सरकारको ध्यान त्यहाँ जान नसकेको
एउटा सरकारले यसो बनाउन खोज्छ फेरि अर्को सरकार आइहाल्छ मुख्य त राजनीतिक अस्थिरता
भित्र मनबाट यो संहिता ठीक हो भन्ने पनि नलागिरहेको पनि नेताहरुमा बुझिन्छ
ती 3 महिनामा राजनीतिहरु चेन्ज भएको भएर पनि सायद होला
The share market index NEPSE witnessed a significant fall today as it went down by 79.88 points and settled at 2,894 points on the first trading day of the week today. Transactions stood at 19,740 million rupees. The highest losses were borne by investors in banking, development banks, finance, hydro and insurance companies. Apart from microfinance group, all other groups witnessed a reduction. The share values for 184 companies went down while 60 went up. It's time now for the international update. The Iranian-backed movement said Hezbollah launched hundreds of rockets and drones against Israel today in retaliation for the assassination of a senior commander in Beirut last month as Israel's cabinet met to prepare a response. The Israeli military said it had thwarted a much larger attack with preemptive strikes after it assessed that Hezbollah was preparing to launch the barrage. Today's violence was among the biggest exchanges of fire since hostilities began between Israel and Hezbollah in parallel with the eruption of Israel's war against Palestinian group Hamas in Gaza. The Israeli military said in a statement around 100 Israeli jets struck more than 40 Hezbollah launch sites in southern Lebanon shortly before the strikes, destroying thousands of launcher barrels that were aimed mainly at northern Israel, but with some targets in central areas. Hezbollah said it had launched drones and more than 320 Katyusha rockets towards Israel and hit 11 military targets. It said the barrage had completed the first phase of its response to Israel's assassination last month of Fuad Shakur, a senior commander in Beirut, but that the full response would take some time. Shakur's death in an airstrike was quickly followed by the assassination of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, which led to vows of reprisal against Israel by Iran. The Israel-Hezbollah escalation has drawn fears of a wider regional conflict, potentially involving both the United States and Iran. The White House said U.S. President Joe Biden was following events closely.
Sports news.
Nepal have advanced into the SAF Under-20 Championship Finals, defeating Bhutan 4-1 in a penalty shootout after regulation play ended in a 1-all draw. In the semi-final played at the Anfa complex in Sadabatu, Lalitpur this afternoon, the first half ended in a goalless stalemate. In the second half, Jitsun Dorji scored in the 56th minute to give Bhutan a 1-0 lead. Avinash Xiangtang's free kick in the 71st minute was well saved by Bhutanese goalkeeper Locho Nima to deny Nepal the equalizer. Bhutan's Kingjun Tenzing was red-carded in the 76th minute for a foul on Nepal defender Sabin Ghimire. Nirajan Dhami found the back of the net for Nepal in the 78th minute, making good use of the pass by Lakshu Thapa to level the match at 1-all. The match went straight into spot kicks after regulation play ended in a 1-all draw. Nepal's Ram Thapa, Avinash Xiangtang, Semanta Thapa and Jiarath Sheikh all scored in the penalty shootout. Nepal custodian Jiarath Sheikh saved spot kicks of two Bhutanese players, Jigme Namgyal and Ugyen Dorji. Jitsun Dorji was the only player to convert the spot kick for Bhutan. Tomorrow's second semi-final at the Anfa complex features a clash between defending champions India and Bangladesh. The match is scheduled for a 3 p.m. kickoff. Nepal will face the winner of tomorrow's semi-final in Wednesday's title decider. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.